Hey everyone, this is Diamond Princess with another video. I was supposed to go live yesterday to talk about this topic. However, uh, another YouTuber contacted me and asked me to be on their live yesterday night because it was going to be their last episode of that live. So I told them that I will be there. However, this weekend I was very stressed out, like extremely stressed out over the weekend. And it's due to the fact that I have a lot of things going on right now in my life. However, I am feeling much better now than I was yesterday. And this is one of the reasons why I couldn't do the live or go on the other YouTubers live stream. I had to miss it to get myself at peace and calm myself down. But I can assure you that I will be doing YouTube videos again starting this week. But I want to go off this topic because somebody was talking. Well, another YouTuber, and I'm going to say her name, hashtag Black Woman, did this topic. When was it? Yesterday or the day before that? I think it was Saturday when she did this topic, Black woman dating down and not vetting properly that the man that they are choosing. And when it comes to Black women and us dating and not selecting the right men for the job that is for us that we desire. The reason why Black women do not vet properly or date properly is because of our upbringing and the way our mothers raised us. You see, the way that Black women were raised, we were raised to put our lives around men, basically doing what the man wants and putting our needs last. And we were not taught to do that. And this is why Black women, we have issue with being hypergamous is because we were taught to put ourselves last and we were not taught to put ourselves first as women and take care of ourselves. We were taught to take care of everybody else and everybody else's needs. And this is why there is an issue with Black women going through hypergamy. It's a very, very deep rooted issue that I believe that Black women should start considering hypergamy for that reason. However, as a Black woman myself, I really don't want to consider myself Black at the moment. It is not due to self hate issues. It's just that that word doesn't exist. This Black term, an African American term, was made up. We, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I believe that Black folks were already here in America, but that's just a topic for another video. But we were so, as Black women, we were so messed up with how we were raised and how we should vet men and how we should be if we desire to get married, if we desire to be taken care of. Because let's be honest, it's most women that desire to be taken care of. But the way that how we date and go about this whole mess with being hypergamy is not working for Black women because we're not in the mindset that we should be in. We're sitting here and we are getting our advice from men when we should be able to think for ourselves and say, what about me? What about my needs? What about how I should approach when I am in a relationship with somebody? That's the kind of thinking that Black women need to do because we need to get out of this mindset that we should, always serve the men. We should always put the man before our needs. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. As Black women, we should always put ourselves first and never a man because as you may know that we hear stories of Black women not putting their needs and neglecting themselves and not knowing how to do self-care within themselves, and we get it confused because in order we like let's put it this way, we are more man pleasers than trying to please ourselves and do what is right for us as women. We don't we don't have that because we were never taught to love and respect ourselves as women. We always choose the worst partners for the job, and we never consider, okay, well, what does he bring to the table? What is he doing in my life that benefits me? Because we always want to benefit the man. But what are we doing to get the man to benefit us as women? Let's think about that for a minute. Because let's be honest, we don't pick like most black women. Most black women do not pick the right guy for the job. And we always ended up being the breadwinner in our household and the ones paying all the bills while the man is the one that's sitting up on his couch playing video games and don't have no cares in the world or have no worries in the world, but you're the one that's going around stressing yourself out, neglecting yourself because you are putting your need put it because you're paying bills. And when you paying bills and you paying taxes and you don't and you have a man in the house that does not contribute to helping out with getting all this load off your back, then it's time to rethink and reevaluate what have we been doing to that is making this man not want to contribute to the household, and why am I neglecting myself just so I can have a roof over my head? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't stop paying your bills or whatever, but if you have a grown person in your household, it's time for them to start paying up. We need to stop being generous. We need to start being hard, and we need to start demanding things, because when you demand things, that will show you what type of guy you are dealing with. Because most men nowadays, they don't want to pay bills, they don't want to share responsibility, or they don't want to put in most of the work. They want to go 50-50 in the relationship And it's like, why are you expecting women to put most or half of the work that you should be doing as a man? A man is a provider. His job is to make sure that everybody in the household has running water, everybody has food in their bellies or in the kitchen, and they make sure that the roof is over their head, they're paying the mortgage. But when you have a guy that don't want to take full responsibility as a man, there is a problem with that. There is a problem within the mindset of this man where he can't even get himself together to to even to even get himself together. And as women, we shouldn't even make these guys an option where they don't have the money to pay bills or put in groceries or anything. Because let me tell you something, when you're dealing with men that do not have the best interest in heart for you, and they just want to eat off of you and take everything that you worked your hard earned money for, this is when you start evaluating who are you choosing as your partner. Because when you have a partner, he has to share responsibilities in the household. He has to also raise the kids, cook and clean and all that stuff. He's talking about going 50-50. Dude, this is 50-50. This is not just talking about paying bills. This is also helping out raising the kids, taking them to their football games, taking them shopping to get new outfits, going grocery shopping, and cleaning the house. That's 50-50. It's not about bills. And this is what women are misconstrued. We need to stop listening to men and start listening to ourselves. What benefits us as women? What, as women, can we do to make sure that we are not in a 50-50 relationship? And I can agree with hashtag Black woman on this. As Black women, we need to choose the best man for the job. Because when we date down, we do not get the benefit, we don't benefit from the relationship, period. The man does, because he don't want to put in any work in the relationship. He just want to be able to relax or be in his femininity, which to me is like, why in the world, like, I'm doing all of this by myself, and you're just sitting here just taking up space. Why do I have you here for if you're not going to put anything in contributing to the bills? And as women, as Black women, when it comes to dating, we are the worst. We do not vet men. And for what I see in Black women, because I'm a Black woman myself, I came a long way when it comes to dating. When it comes to dating, as Black women, we are not thinking, well, what can this guy contribute? What can I benefit from him? Instead, we're just thinking about, how can I benefit him? How can I make him happy? How can I, get that ring on my finger so that I can come Mrs. So and so? We're thinking backwards as Black women. And I'm glad that there are Black women out there that are practicing hypergamy. and are saying no to Dusties and 50-50 men. I'm glad that, I'm seeing that more and more in Black women, that they're taking charge of their lives. However, it's not enough because we still have Black women that still have this mindset where they put the men over themselves. And that to me is not how hypergamy works. You have to take care of yourself. If a man has to go to you and ask you for money, there's a problem. Why is a man sitting there asking you for money where he should be trying to figure out, okay, how can I be able to go on dates and pay for them? He's not thinking about that. He wants to sit there and ask you for money or ask you to pay for his date. And if a man sits there and he does that, it's time for you to just get up and walk away from that man, because he's not doing anything that what I'm trying to say is that he's not in a relationship to benefit you. He is trying to benefit himself. And I hate to say this, but when Black women in careers, we're not thinking, because let me tell you something, we have a lot to lose in when we get married. Let's say for Rihanna, for example, and this is just allegedly, her being married to ASAP Rocky. If anything happens where she has to cut off connections from him, she's probably going to end up paying alimony and child support. Because let me tell you something, the courts are probably going to give him the child. Maybe that's probably a possibility. It's a maybe, but in any situation, people that are basically has less income usually takes the kids in the divorce, because that's what happened to my parents. My mom ended up getting custody of us because they feel that the mom is the best fit for the kids. And we see Black women in Hollywood, such as Mary J. Blige, Sherry Shepherd, and Holly Berry. Other women in Hollywood are paying alimony to their spouse is because they made more money than their spouse. And Mary J. Blige, she said recently that she's broke. She is absolutely broke. She can barely pay her rent because she has to pay her ex-husband alimony, and I believe it's $30,000 a year or a month. It's one of those, a month, and she has to pay that. And Mary J. Blige has not put out an album in a decade. So now she has done the Super Bowl and she put out new music. She is trying to pay her alimony and try to get all that out the way so that she will be able to pay her rent and all that stuff. Right now, she's not able to pay her rent because he spent all her money. He spent every dime of her money, probably tricking it off of women. And as women, when we are making money and we go up on our tax bracket, we need to find a man either on our tax bracket or higher. Because when we date down, we have a lot to lose. And this is what happened. This is what happened to Mary J. Blige, Holly Berry, and Sherry Shepherd, because they did not date within their tax bracket or higher. They think that, oh, this man loves me. I fell head over heels. Love is love. Okay, fine. But love is not going to make this low income man contribute to bills, because he feels that, hey, my girl, she got all this. All I have to do is kick back and relax and do nothing. And this is how, some of these guys think, because their women is taking care of them instead of the man taking care of their woman. And as black women, we have the worst choice in black men. And I encourage black women to stop and think about the choices that they make. Because if you having this problem with men over and over again, not having enough resources, not putting in enough resources, not contributing in the relationship at all, and you're paying most of the bills, if not 50-50, then it's time for us to evaluate who we're dating. It's time for us to evaluate the men that are coming in our lives, because if you have men that suck, have a bad attitude, and doesn't contribute anything, girl, it's time for you to let him loose, because he is not doing you any favors. He just there to give you pain and heartache. And Mary J. Blige, I think she was in a couple of relationships. I think Kendu Isaac was her first marriage. I'm not certain. But this is what happens when you date down. You ended up giving this man more money than what you should be giving him, because you chose to date down. A manager, really? If a manager is not, if he did not come from the music genre and he's not a singer and he don't have millions or billions of dollars, don't date him. He's not in your tax bracket. Don't date him. Because if you want to date somebody that has more money than you, that's the practice of the woman. The man's job is to take care of the woman. The woman's job is to take care of the children. There is levels to this. But the guy, you know, most men nowadays, they want you to take care of them and the children, while and taking food out the children's mouths, because they feel like, oh, the woman should give me my plate before the children because I'm the man and all that stuff. I'm like, fuck that. Whether you are providing in the household or not, my children eat first. And I ended up seeing this TikTok where this woman, she's holding a plate, right? And the captions say up on the top, saying, my child gets their plate first. And a lot of men had a problem with that. They said, you are not a good woman if you don't put your man first, or if your man don't eat first. Or they will say, your man would always get his plate first. He will always eat first before the children. I was like, dude, where is this coming from? When in the world do you start taking food out the kids' mouths? Like, seriously? These are kids, they're not your best friends. You have kids. You provide for your kids. You bring food in the house so your kids can eat. Your kids cannot work for themselves. You have to work for your kids. You have to buy them clothes. You have to pay the bills. You have to keep the roof over their house. These kids cannot do that. Like, dude, just because you earn income, that doesn't mean you eat first. Just because you buy the food, your children eat first. Period. Whether they like it or not. Like, I don't like. Here's the thing with me. Like, I'll be damned if I see my sister's husband eating before my nieces. Like, I will go off. I will go off because my nieces eat first. I give my nieces plate before I sit down and I eat my damn self. I give my nieces their plate before I give my dad his. There is no such thing as an adult eating first. Not in my household. Kids eat first. If I see a kid in my household, they're going to be the ones that eat first. And then I will serve my dad and then myself. But you got a lot of hey Nick, how you doing? You got a lot of losers online thinking that, oh, you know, I gotta have my plate first. Like, girl, who are you having in your house? These guys think, I swear, I can't stand guys that are entitled just because they're a man. You're supposed to provide for your children first. Excuse me. You're supposed to provide for your children first because they're children. They can't work. And the children need to be provided for. So, as Black women, we need to put our priorities first. Even if you have children, you know, you are supposed to take care of them because that's your duty as a parent. However, don't neglect yourself. Keep yourself up too. Practice self care and all that stuff because you don't want to go down the street looking all raggedy. Come on now. You're supposed to look as good as your kids. Come on now. Don't neglect yourself because we're quick to neglect ourselves while, you know, we take care of our kids, which we should take care of our kids. But that doesn't mean we have to neglect ourselves. Go to the nail shop, get your nails done. Buy you some makeup from Sephora. Do whatever it takes to also put yourself first. Don't neglect yourself because you have kids. Put yourself first. Once your kids are taken care of, then you go and take care of yourself. Don't neglect yourself. That's not right. And that's what the problem with Black women, we do not take care of ourselves. We always put ourselves be- no, sorry, excuse me. We always put men before ourselves, and this has got to stop. It has got to stop. We have to be able to work on ourselves and be able to reevaluate the situation that we're in because I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of Black women are in poverty. They're living in poor, rural, ghetto areas where there's a lot of gang violence going on. There's a lot of crime going on in every state where Black women lives. And this has got to change. As Black women, we gotta sit there and think and say, do I like, I don't want to be in the situation. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to fear my life in the neighborhood that I live in. I don't want to see my child body on the street just because there's shooting going on in the neighborhood. When it comes to dating, and when you're tired of of the situation that you're in, it's time to date up. It's time to get with a guy that can get you out of that situation, to get you out of the hood. Because when you date up and the guy is taking care of you and your needs, and he's helping take care of your children, you have a peace of mind because you're not doing it alone. You have somebody there that can help you get through the situation. If your man like loves you enough, because I've been hearing women when they get into these relationship where the man makes most of the money, he pays her bills, he pays off her loans and all that stuff. And to me, kudos. That's a good man right there. Because you will want a man to help you pay your bills. He because as a man, when a man does that, that shows that he is responsible. He can provide. He's not looking for a 50-50 relationship. A guy that is a man would not ask a woman for nothing. Wouldn't even give his hand out to ask a woman for at least $1. He would not do that because he knows as a man he has to be the one responsible in order to provide and making sure that the household is taken care of while the woman takes care of the kids. Like, come on now. As Black women, we really need to do some serious validation, even as mammies, because I see mammies in this, in other Black women spaces that are hypergamous. You guys don't bash these women because what these women are doing, they're trying to figure out themselves. That's why they are visiting these spaces because they are looking for a solution to to finding out who they are as a woman, and you can't get that from nobody else. You have to figure that out on your own. But when they visit these spaces, they they're deep down inside, they want to do better. They want to date better. They want to choose the right man for the job. And them sticking up for Black men is, let's say this for instance, they're talking up and sticking up for Black men and all that stuff. They're draining all that negative energy out of them, and let them do it. Let them do it. Because when they're talking about, oh, you can't talk about Black men like that, they're draining all that negative energy out like that because they're rediscovering themselves. They're looking, for a hole to get out of. And when they visit the BWEs or the divestment or, any Black woman's channel, they are trying to figure out, they're looking for a solution, to be honest with you. And they can't get a solution in their communities. They really can't. Because the people in the community, they're far gone. Like, the community is messed up. So when you have women in there and they're single mothers and they're tired of making the wrong choices, that's why they visit our spaces. But As women, we're so quick to block them just because they have it, because they believe that, black men are not like that. Guys, don't throw them away that easy. Our job is to help them. That's why we have these channels. This is why we this is why we want black women to be hypergamous in the first place, is because we do not want to date dusties. We're tired of dating down. We're tired of being the providers. So these women, they have narrow-minded minds. They believe that black men cannot do no wrong, when they're actually seeing the wrongs that are being done in the community. They just need to get out of the spell from the black male worship, and we need to give them at least the benefit of the doubt. At least the benefit of the doubt, because it's just the mammies are just screaming for help. They're screaming for help. They want to get out of the situation that they're in. And as women, we should not, dismiss them like that, because we want our movement to grow. We want the BWE content to grow, and we want more black women. We want more black women on our side. We want more black women to wake up and realize that they do have a choice. You do have a choice in dating, and you can date whoever you want. It doesn't have to be a black man, because they've been told all their lives that you have to stick with black men because no other race of men wants you, which is not true. If you look at these success stories, there are there are black women in successful relationships with non-black men because they're being provided for. And I believe that we should not be knocking down the mammies so quickly because they feel that, they have in mind black male worship. But you guys got to understand, this is slowly dying. It's slowly dying, and I believe as black women content creators, we don't see that. They're looking. I believe that they're looking for a solution, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how can I make the best version of myself and be better? And I believe that that's what the mammies are doing. They're trying to look for ways to, okay, how can I date better? How can I look my best? And I believe we should, help them. You know, it, we should help them get out of their situation. And let me tell you something, and to debunk this whole lie, you don't hit the wall at 30. You are at your best. You are at your best when you're in your 30s and under, okay? These men can say you hit the wall at 30, when in actuality, that's how they feel. They feel like they hit the wall because they haven't accomplished anything in their lives. So they're trying to put the looks of black women down and saying, you hit the wall at 30, when black women are looking their best at 30. They're looking even better than they were in their 20s. I look even better in my 30s than I did in my 20s. I I am looking and feeling healthier than I was in my 20s. Because in my 20s, I was in bad shape. And I'm not even lying. I am in bad shape. But don't get me wrong now. I still have my bad days. I still do. But it's not as bad when I was in my 20s. No, well, let's put it this way, uh, JG. That could be the case. That could be the case. However, we have to look at it as a case of the black man syndrome, because they're trying to drain that out. They're trying to drain that out And we should encourage them instead of discouraging them to look at other races of men. We should not be arguing them about, black men this, black men that. No, we should encourage them to look for other races of men so that they can do better, so that they can have the better option in choosing men, because we want more black women on our side. That's the whole goal. We should not be pushing away the mammies just because they worship black men. You have to give them time. You have to be patient, because the more you reveal the harshness of the community, the more they're going to snap out of it. They're going to snap out of it. Trust me, they're going to snap out of it once they realize that there's better options out there. We just have to encourage them that we can do, they can do better too. I'm not going to count a black woman out just because she's a black male worshiper. No, it takes time. We need to stop rushing people. It doesn't take black women a day to get out of the black and stand mindset. It's probably going to take a year or two or maybe more for them to get out of that mindset. We just have to keep preaching the word and doing different things as black women, because they see that black men ain't shit. They're seeing that black men ain't shit, but we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. We have to, encourage black women to, hey, there's nothing wrong with dating other races of men. There are other races of men that are interested in you. You just have to give them a chance. Just because they don't have the same skin tone as you, that does not mean they can be a pretty decent guy. We just have to encourage them to open up their options more and have them date variety. At 55, a woman's sexual peak is at its highest. So I wish black women would stop giving up on life because she's older. I agree. Oh my gosh, I agree with this comment, because it's like I said earlier, we listen to men too much and what they think and what they say, because I'm in my 30s and I'm living my best life than what I did when I tried. I look even better. Like if you were to see me in person, you would think I'm in my 20s, honey. No, I'm almost in my mid 30s, and trust me, I am doing good. And I'm not saying that I don't have my downs, my ups and downs. However, I'm doing better than what I did in my 20s, because when you're in your 30s, when you're an older woman, you're at your peak. And we need to stop listening to these men, because the reason why these men are bitter, because older women, we know the game. We know the game that they're playing, and we're not falling for it. So they're sitting up there and they're saying, oh, we're going to date girls in their 20s and leave these 30-year-old hit the wall women alone. But how is the dating 20-year-olds gonna improve your situation even better? Because their main goal, when you're dealing with Dusties, their main goal is to control women. And I saw this video yesterday. Was it today? Who played that video? Lexus Exodus? No, I probably saw it last night when she did that video. But this guy was sitting up there. He was saying that, oh, we should be controlling women. Like we should, have them, doing this and that and all that stuff. But that's the whole thing. They want to control women. And this is why they're going after 20-year-old women, because they're going out in the world not knowing any better. And I'm not saying this is every 20 something or 20-year-old going out in the world like that. But when you have, most 20-year-olds that don't have a clue how to date. They don't know how to vet men, and this is why we have channels like Deborah Cooper and these, these other channels. Is because they're needed. We need to, let women know in these spaces that there are men out there that want to take advantage of you. They're not here for your your well-being. They want you to benefit them without them benefiting you. So that's why we have channels that, you know, that can show young women how to date properly. Because in your 20s, you don't have that much dating experience. And I don't even know why these men want Roger Allen Curry to retire. Like, why? Why would you want Roger Allen Curry to retire? Because he's telling the truth on how men should date or how men should approach women. Like, come on. Like, and these dudes, what's laughable is that these dudes are saying, oh, Alan Roger Curry should retire and he should let 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds take he should pass the baton to 20-year-olds. Let me tell you something. 20 When you're in your 20s, you do not have enough dating experience. You really don't. You're barely going out in the world and experiencing the world. Why in the world would I take advice from a 20-year-old how to date? Like, that's stupid. That's very stupid. I can't. I would not take a 20-year-old seriously when it comes to dating because they don't have enough experience. Get out there in the world. Date more. Date different types of dudes out there, and then you can come back to me and give me advice. But other than that, don't tell me about that. Let me finish reading here. I wish black women would stop giving up on life because she's older, or stop thinking that white men will be racist to them. No, not every white man is racist. You do have white men that are racist in the real world. However, things are changing. We're living in a new decade. We're living in a decade of information and wokeness. I don't know about the whole woke thing, but people are waking up and starting to realize what is going on here and why it's not all about why. It's about being aware, because I hate this whole woke thing. I prefer being aware than woke, because people are not completely woke. You can be aware, but you're not completely woke. I believe that racism would never go away. However, I'm glad in this generation that people are starting to wake up and see that it's stupid. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't do anything in their life. It doesn't change anything, because let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Like, people are people are going to be racist no matter what, but it's up to people to, put these kind of racist people in check. But if you feel like you're dating a non-black man that is racist and is saying racist bullshit, that's when you have to get up and leave. You have to get up and leave and find a white man that is not like that. Find a non-black man that is not racist. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, racism will not go away, but I'm glad that people are more aware that, racism is not it's something that should not be here, but it is, and is, whatever. But anyways, dating, back to dating. Yeah, black women, we should be able to, because we're in the age of information. We should be able, if we're going out in the world and we dating, we should be able to, find older women dating coach. And I'm talking about women that's 38 and over that have gone to that have dated longer than I have, or women in their 20s or something like that. We should be taking advice from them because they dated longer and they know the experience and they deal with all types of men and walk of life and different personalities. Those are the women that I would suggest. And Deborah Cooper, if you guys don't know who she is very good at sniffing out bullshit. Okay, I am not gonna lie. Like, this woman is amazing. Like, she done it. She has done it. She dated most of her life, and this woman, I can't tell you how old she is, but she is an older woman. But she's the channel that you should watch. She will break down, the Dusties and their mindset and their pathology. She's like the older Cynthia G to me, but not that extreme. Not that extreme. She's not that extreme, but she will actually, tell you the honest truth. She will give it to you raw, and she's not about that bullshit. She will tell you up front how she feels about the whole dating scene in the situation. Um, I am glad that more Black women are getting in the driver's seat by attracting men that she wants to be with instead of allowing themselves to be imposed by the law or tier Black men with the. Yeah, yeah, like, I'm glad more Black women are opening up their options. I still feel that we still have a long way to go because there's still Black women out here that is, they haven't gotten over their trauma. They haven't gotten over the fact that, something happened in their childhood that they haven't gotten over. But that's something that we have to get over in order to move forward with our lives, because the more that we hang on to bitterness, the more that can spill over into our relationships. And let me tell you something, Black women, and I'm going to be honest with you. When you're in a relationship, do not talk about Black men, period. When you're in a relationship with non-Black men, do not talk about them 24/7, 7 days a week, how many hours of the day. Okay, like, let that go. Like, your traumatic experience is weighing down on your non-Black partner, and when you're trying to move forward, you're not trying to take Blackistan with you. You want to leave that behind. Okay, so as a woman, a Black woman myself, you know, Black men should not be on our minds 24/7. It's good to, get updates of what's going on in the Black community so we can stay up to date. However, we should focus on, like, other things, as encouraging Black women to finish our education and to move forward in our lives so that we can be on track to getting back our desirability the way we want it. I never I never I never talk about that to them. Girl, let's hope you never do. Because we don't want to sit here and act like we're bitter, because I've seen, certain Black women content creators that claim that they're with non-Black men, but they're sitting up online talking about them 24/7. And it's like, you have a non-Black man. Like, we understand that black men are dusty. We can, talk about that, over and over and over again. But, and we want Black women to be aware of that, of course. But there's dust in every race. It blows like a dust storm. There's dust in every race of men, and I believe that Black women should talk about men, period. Because I met, other race of men that are dusty. They don't act like Pookie and Ray Ray in that kind of dust, but they still dusty. They would like try to play mind games with you and trying to waste your time when you don't have to spend any time with them. So we should talk about men, period. And the dust that they bring behind me, because you know where a man is lame. Because here's when I see when you're dealing with a dusty man, he's online 24/7. He calls you when he's out, when you're at work. He doesn't have a job. It's like, dude, like, what are you doing with your life? Like, trust me, you do not want to date a guy that's just doing Uber. Uber, you're just doing Uber as a job. Oh, I don't like to work for nobody else. Dude, what makes you guarantee that you will make money off of Uber? It's commission. You have other Uber drivers out there. And not only that, you have Lyft drivers too, and other share ride companies around the country. You're competing with them. You're competing with them. And it's no guarantee that you will get a customer. There is no guarantee of that. So it's always good to have like a main job. A main job. Okay? A main job. Because there is no guarantee, because there's other share rides that are coming up. Google has like a Whamoo, something like that. That's also a share ride. It is not guaranteed that you'll get a customer, because some different people have different apps. They got Whamoo, they got Lyft, they got Uber, or these other share ride companies. So there is no guarantee that you will get business, because you got other share ride customers that you're competing with. So it's always good to get a main job to back you up in your bills. But anyways, yeah. So I hate it when a man say, "Well, I don't like working for other people." Like, dude, get out of here. Like, you don't like working for other people? That's fine, but don't complain at the end when you're broke. Because women, we don't date broke men. We want to date up. That's the goal of women. We date up. That's what women do. Men on the other hand, men, they date it within their tax bracket, or they date down. Men have those two options. Women don't. We have to date up in order to feel secure in that relationship. Men either date in their tax bracket or they date down, because they want to be providers. They want to be providers. And I believe that as women, we need to, well, I'm talking specifically to Black women, it's time for us to date up. We have no choice at the matter, because as Black women, we're going to school. We're changing the face of the globe right now, okay? Because we're owning businesses, we're in fashion, and there's other things out there that we are doing that are contributing. We're doctors, we're lawyers. We are contributing to society. And when you contribute to society, your status goes up. And when your status goes up, that means that it's time for you to date up. And that's what we should be doing. So I'm going to get out of here. I've been on this live for an hour already, and I just want to touch up on that. So, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I go live or when I upload a video. So, enjoy the rest of your week, you guys. Bye.